I'm Christine Bonero, President and CEO of Mile High United Way, and I am so delighted to welcome you this evening to Hope Community's virtual event. Oh, how I wish we were all together, but I am so honored to be just airdropping in to say congratulations and thank you to Hope Communities, who this year, in a crazy year when we couldn't be together, Hope Communities, under the extraordinary leadership of Sharon Knight, did exactly what its name says, provided hope, but did it in a way that held up the residents, that listened to what the residents' dreams and desires were, and were there for them in a time when our community needed Hope Communities the most. We are so very proud that my colleague, Venetia Kerr, the Chief Impact Officer at Mile High United Way, is on the Board of Trustees of Hope Communities and sends her greetings as well this evening. What we love about Hope Communities is not only is it resident driven, but the evaluation, and they know the impact and how they are changing lives. So we are incredibly grateful that you have joined in virtually tonight to support Hope Communities. On behalf of Mile High United Way, on behalf of the Hope Communities team, and all of us who believe in a future for everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. And now, stay tuned for a very special treat with local legend, Purnell Steen. Have a great evening.
Hi, I'm Sharon Knight, President and CEO of Hope Communities. Today we're going to show you some highlights of our work, our staff, and our clients, to give you a little bit of a glimpse of the tremendous impact that we are making in our community. We'll be sharing video footage of our clients and our staff, grouped by how they align with the tenets of our work: home, opportunity, and community. Home, because we believe that everyone should have a safe place to call home and the resources that they need to thrive. Opportunity, because our goal is to level the playing field and help people who need it most secure the basic needs, the resources, and the connections that they need to achieve their personal and their economic goals. And community, because we're all in this together. It's important to have a social network and a neighborhood safety net to advance opportunity, to create safety, and to create more vibrant communities where everyone really feels that sense of home. Hope Communities is very committed to the concept of client-informed programs and services. I say client rather than resident because about 45% of the people that we serve with housing support, navigation, career assistance, and programs are individuals who are facing significant obstacles to success in the broader community. They can come to Hope to receive those programs and services free of charge to help them get on the path to success. They don't necessarily have to live on our properties, but they've heard about the impact we make, and so people from the broader area are flocking to the navigators and programs that we offer. I think there are two factors in our success. One is the fact that we tailor programs and services expressly to the clients that we serve. It's not the easiest way to do business, but I think it is definitely the most effective. To do that and to know how to customize programs, we have to really listen to those people. We need to start where they are and be able to take them step by step towards their specific goals. And to do that, we need to build relationships and we need to have candid conversations with them. And these types of conversations, as you might expect, really only happen if there is a foundation of relationship and trust that is established with each of those clients. Another factor is that we know the way we do business is just as important as what we do. We establish those trusting relationships. We treat clients with respect, We demonstrate integrity in all of our dealings with clients and partners. We empower our clients and our teams to make their own decisions. We collaborate on activities frequently and are true to our core values of inclusiveness and equity. We even ask residents to be part of the interview process to select the staff that will work most directly with them. We want to hear their insights, their voice, their perspective, and we want them to know that we're bringing in staff that can relate to them and we'll be able to walk with them hand in hand towards their own personal goals. The staff and the board of Hope Communities are clearly committed to our mission to strengthen communities and provide pathways to economic and personal opportunity through affordable housing, education, and support services. In the last year and a half, they have gone above and beyond, demonstrating tremendous ingenuity and resolve to get people through this really trying time. We do an exceptional job at leveraging every dollar and every community resource to help vulnerable people across Denver find a safe place to call home and gain more equitable access to opportunity and then to build community. While we're going to give you a glimpse into the scope of our work today, I know that you may have questions, and so please reach out to me. I would be so happy to talk with you or to give you a tour of our properties or our programs. I truly appreciate that you're here today. I hope you get a sense of the impact that we are making and that you understand that any donation you make to Hope Communities is a tremendous investment in community and will net great return on your investment. And now I welcome you to listen to a few of our clients share how hope exemplifies home, opportunity, and community to them.
It's good to have a place to call home, and I like the people, the different nationalities and the different customs and the different modes of dress.
Relied on family, friends, had anxiety, and then went homeless, slept in the park, and then finally got my own place. There was times where I was in need, and I didn't know who to turn to, so I called Amber, and Amber would always be there to help me.
My name is Amber Owens, and I am a program manager here at Hope Communities Gardens. And gosh, I have been in this community really my entire life. My parents live about not even 5 minutes away from here, and so I grew up in this community with the people in this community, and so I tend to understand a little more just really who they are and what they need and how to help. Hope Communities, and I can really speak for the entire staff, what we do is we definitely customize any work that we do, whether it be in the community or just with individuals. One way that we do that is by really building that relationship with people. Something that I love to say, and something that we all definitely do, is make certain that if we're working with one member of the family, in a way we're working with the entire family. We have a very holistic approach when it comes to working with people.
Because I know she's a loving, caring person, and I know she's there to help out people in need. That's just the way I feel with her, and I would text her and tell her, I thank God every day I met you. I do.
I have twins that are 9 years old, and their names are Khalif and Kareem, and they were involved with the community service project here, which sometimes entails them gardening, which is new to them, but I found they love it. Even on the weekend, they woke up and like, oh, we got to go water the garden, and then while they were doing the summer camp, on Wednesdays they did some community service where they set up the tables and they have fresh produce that comes from across the street, and they help distribute that within the community here, and even help women carry it to their unit if need be. Yeah, so but they really, and they help take it down too. So they love it. They come back and talk about it, and you know what they were in charge of, and and how much somebody took. Yeah, so they really enjoy doing things here at the garden. I want to raise great men, caring men, and then you know, when they were real little, my goal was to have 4 boys that spoke another language fluently, so it was bilingual. So I have 3 out of the 4 that are fluent in Mandarin Chinese. So that's a proud mama moment for me.
But yeah, Miss Amber helped me get a tutor, and my brother was able to get that too. And with that, his grades have improved so much, and I don't know how to thank them.
Hello everyone, my name is Kelly Kaminskis, and it's my privilege to serve as president of the Hope Communities Board of Directors. It goes without saying that we had hoped to be able to see you in person for our event this year. But regardless, we're so grateful that you could join us virtually and can't wait to see you all soon. This last year has been something else. I'm incredibly proud of Hope Communities and how we've adapted and risen to the challenge to meet the many obstacles presented to the team and our community. The pandemic brought attention to what many of us have known for years. Public systems are not meeting the needs of our communities, and particularly the needs of those most vulnerable. The team at Hope Community has worked relentlessly to answer that call, and the call of our vision, which is to build a community where everyone has a safe place to call home, and the opportunity not just to survive, but to thrive. During our show, we are so excited to share glimpses of our work this year and to provide firsthand accounts of need and impact. And then we hope you'll feel compelled to help us continue this great work. You'll see from our residents how important it really is and how it can often be truly life-changing. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maggie Bolden, and I am so honored to serve on the board of Hope Communities. I've been so impressed with the work of this organization since I joined the board 3 years ago, and never more than in the last year and a half during the pandemic. One of the unique traits of this organization is that they truly listen to residents and determine needs and then customize programs to address those needs. They have had navigation and programs on site for some time, but since the pandemic started, they responded to food insecurity with weekly and bi-weekly distribution of more than 18,000 fresh, healthy meals. They continued navigation and support for a whole myriad of issues by implementing an innovative outdoor program model, expanded the service team with navigators speaking more than a dozen languages. They've provided more than 1,500 vaccinations and so much more. All these factors are so unique and so powerful, which led me and other community members to nominate Hope Communities for the Eagle Award, which is an award offered by Housing Colorado and coveted in the affordable housing community. Hope won hands down. The following video was produced by Housing Colorado to showcase the amazing programs and services offered by Hope Communities.
Everybody deserves a safe place to call home and the resources that they need to thrive. Real equity starts with that, but doesn't end with housing.
When I first came here, it feels like a relief We've been in a refugee camp for 8 years. Now we are in a better place. We can work on our hopes.
We came here as a refugee. We didn't know anything about the United States. While I'm living here in Hope Communities, I started planning for starting a small business.
သူတို့ကဟိုဟာလေအမတို့ရခိုင်မှာကြလို့ရှိရင်ဟိုဟိုတယ်တွေမရှိဘူးမော်ဒယ်တွေမရှိဘူးလေဟိုရောက်ခရဲကလည်းစားတောက်ဆိုင်မှာလုပ်တယ်ဒီကိုလည်းရောက်လဲရောက်တော့အရန်ကိုစိတ်ဖိစီးမှုတစ်ခုမှမရှိတော့တယ်လို့ပဲအရန်ကူညီတယ်
Our neighbor clients have grown tremendously. We've gone from serving about 25% of our clients from the broader community to 43%. And I don't see that slowing down. They really meet the need.
When everything went digital, Hope really rose to the challenge, and their resource navigators, as well as their leasing office, continued to show up.
If someone just came to this country, they don't have those connections that might enable them to move forward.
Right now, I am with the Spain Institute, the HIPPY program. That program for the young children for the 2 year, 3 year, and the 4 year before they go to the free school.
Many of the people that we serve on a regular basis don't have good access to technology or command of technology.
How to deal with tech, how to go to email, how to log in, how to create an account, how to download Zoom.
ငါတို့ community ကလေအမလေးတစ်ခုမှမကြံဘူးအကုန်ကူညီတယ်သူတို့တွေဘာကူညီပေးရမလဲထွေထွေဒါမျိုးပဲမေးတယ်သူတို့တွေ appointment လဲဒီလောက်ယူစရာလဲမလိုဘူးတဲ့လားသူတို့ကိုကြောက်စရာလဲမလိုဘူး
Resource navigation, as well as programs on site or close to the residence, removes transportation as a barrier. The family is able to access a variety of things within walking distance of their home.
We don't have a driver license. Also, we doesn't have a car.
Many of our families don't have good transportation, and so bringing services to them is really important.
In that way, we're giving the family resources that are accessible and available to them within their immediate neighborhood.
We've partnered with Hope for about 7 years. Sharon makes an effort to get out to know the residents, fulfilling her roles as a CEO.
We have an incredible team. It's a team that is committed to equity. We also try very hard to create social connection, building that sense of community, building those social networks, bridging between one culture to another.
When I have a chance to help the other refugee, it makes me very pleased and very happy.
We really believe that if other people in the neighborhoods around our properties have the resources that they need, we will all be better for that. Letting them know what is available here to them, how do they access doctors, is really important for a very successful integration into American life.
Hope Community is, wow, it's all in the name. It gives people hope. You know, this community as a whole is just loving, you know, within. We don't have a lot of affordable, safe, clean environments, unfortunately. And Hope is just that. You know, it is a wonderful place full of vibrant people, you know, growing families. It gives people hope.
It's a very diverse community in terms of age, and also with ethnicity. There's quite a bit of diversity too. One thing in particular I'd like to bring up specifically is the fact that my granddaughter went through a period of time where she was running away. And that was very stressful. And the neighbors and the office people rallied around me. And supported me in a way that I would not have anticipated.
It's really good. I think it's pretty important that you or that people have people they can count on, you know, or go to, because there's a bunch of like communities who don't really have that, and you know they could be struggling with stuff that we can't help with. Honestly, it's so great how like a community can come, you know, become that close, and you're just like, oh hi, and then you would say their name and stuff like that. So if you need like a cup of sugar, you can just go right over to your neighbor, and your neighbor wouldn't have a problem with that. And they need something, no problem.
Oh yeah, Sylvia, you know, she's the first person, first contact, and so of course that sets the tone. And so, you know, she was so comforting, and you knew that she was trying to get good people in here and good families, and you know, make it more of a friendly environment to be around. So that just sets the tone for you right there. And then Amber has just been a blessing ever since. You know, she's come on. It's, you know, to have somebody to reach out and talk to her, explain the problem, or she give you avenues or, you know, points of contact to try to, you know, help. You know, it's okay. And she's so, her voice, and you know, she's a good listener. She's so even-toned, you know, and so even when I know one time I was just on the phone crying, stressed out. She was just easy, and it's gonna be all right, Mr. Cole. We're gonna work it out. And so sometimes you need to hear that. You should be able to have those things without worrying about it. You know, just the basics: safety, shelter, and food. You know, and the garden supplies that and more, honestly. And it's like a family.
I think that people would want to support Hope because they can be assured that every dime is going to go to help someone, whether it be, you know, our residents or the community as a whole. You can be assured that we're doing the work and we are making certain that those folks who really need it are being helped.
Hi, my name is Chung Lei, and I'm a member of the Hope Communities Board of Directors. And I want to take, for the next few minutes, I want to share some of the stories of Hope Communities and the impact that it has within our communities. But I want to take a moment and have you imagine something. Let's imagine that you and your partner, and your children are not in the home that you're living in now. Actually, you don't even have a home, and you're not able to have access to food. And those activities that you provide for your children, knowing that it's going to create future opportunities for them, you're not able to do any of that. Now let's imagine one step even further. Let's assume that you're now in a place where you're not familiar with the language, and you don't have the knowledge to navigate through the system in order to seek shelter or where you're going to get food for your family. For a lot of people out there, it's not even imagining it. It's a reality for them. And that's where Hope Communities really comes in. They provide housing, food, and create opportunities for families to be able to thrive within this community and to build a new life for themselves and their family. You know, they spend so much time day on and day out to create these opportunities and to provide this assistance for so many families out there. I want to share something with you, something that's personal to me, is that when I came here with my family back in the early 80s after the Vietnam War, it was because of organizations like Hope Communities that's why I'm able to have the opportunities that I have now. Because of the impact that Hope Communities has on the community and for so many individuals and families, that's why I committed to working with Hope Communities by serving on the board of directors. And that's why my family, as well as the company that I work for, have decided to provide philanthropic and volunteer support to Hope Communities. And really, I can't even imagine where I would be if organizations like Hope Communities didn't exist. And you know, because of so many partners within the communities that exist out there, Hope Communities is able to do what they do. And because of that, I want to take a second and give our gratitude to the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority, who is also the presenting sponsor for our event. And you know, we would like to thank them for all the years that they've been supporting us and believing in what Hope Communities is able to provide. And of course, I want to make sure that we thank First Bank, who's the opportunity sponsor for tonight's event, as well as the other sponsors, including 3i Law, Enterprise Community Partners, Palace Construction, Denver Health, Haney and Company, Lewis Roca, Capstone, IMA, and all the other donors who believe in so much of what Hope Communities provide for all these individuals and families. I hope that you would take the opportunity to recognize these donors and sponsors by giving them your business and showing them that we recognize and we honor them for making community a priority in their own business. I want for you to imagine one last thing. Imagine that tomorrow or next week or next month, you're driving to work and you stop at Starbucks. Not because you have to, but because it's out of habit. And imagine that instead of buying a tall cup of latte, you take that $5 or $6 and donate it to Hope Communities. And imagine that because of that $5 or $6, they're able to create a program for elementary, middle school, or high school kids. And because of these programs, that enriches their educational endeavors, they grow up to effectuate social change, to create a better community, and to create a community where we all thrive. That's what that $5 can do for Hope Communities and for our own community. So instead of buying that cup of latte, let's buy a cup of hope together. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I know that we are living in unprecedented time, and I wish that I was in person with all of you. But as a special treat, we are thrilled to share a private concert with you with Purnell Steen, a local jazz legend, and the 5 Points Ambassadors have curated a selection of tunes we think you will really enjoy. So I hope that you will continue on watching this program, and thank you so much for your support. And I hope, again, that you will open your wallets and your hearts for Hope Communities. Thank you so much.
I can rest very easily knowing that they will continue on, and they will carry on the tradition of jazz music as I know it, and hopefully that you will know it. And we're going to change the, let's change something. Since yeah, of course. This is what, hey, this is all about jazz. It's called improvisation, right? Well, I was in Prague, okay? Yes. I was in Prague, and I heard this. Keep it up, please. I thought, well, wow, I heard it coming out of the, emanating out of the street. I thought it's coming from a manhole cover. It wasn't. It was coming from a little cellar bar. And I went into this bar. It was in 1970. And I walked in, and they asked me if I were an American, and I said yes. And they said, tell us about jazz. I said, why are you in this little cellar bar? They said, because if we play this music publicly, we'll be shot on sight. This is Miles Davis's All Blues. Thank you. The beauty, seriously, we haven't rehearsed this. That's why they looked at me. You mean as right now? You know, Brendan, you and the camera have a love affair because you got a great face. Your eyes just went, oh. But that's all blues. The lyrics of which were written by and composed by Oscar Brown Jr., who was a great poetic voice of the civil rights movement. And he used this blues metaphorically. He talked about all hues of blues, and he translated this to humanity. The different hues of people of different backgrounds. And that's always struck me very, 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 very personally. And by the way, I can't see. I'm having surgery on Wednesday. I have two blue eyes, one blue this way, one blue that way. And my ophthalmologist said, I'm taking the Cadillacs off. I said, thank you, because I love Lincolns. So things are, I'm having a little ocular if I squint, that's because I'm a dirty old man, and dirty old men squint and they leer. Let's do the Latin piece. Yeah, let's do the Joe Beam, the one. Okay, here's a piece written by. Oh, and I have to tell a wonderful story. Years ago, I was playing at a place on 17th Avenue, and there was a wonderful Irish colleen, and she said, "Oh, Purnell, would you please play that song written by Jim Beam's brother?" And I said, "Who? Who?" She said, "Yeah, Joe Beam." I said, "No, darling, his name is Antonio Carlos Jobim." I said, "Not Joe Beam." But the beauty of jazz is that some people compose. I like to arrange. There's so many great pieces. And one of my, in fact, I think my true pianistic idol is Oscar Peterson. Well, was. Oscar's, by the way, he's gone on to that great band in the sky. By the way, guys, did you know that the Montreal Academy of Music just got renamed the Oscar Peterson Academy in honor of the legendary man. I first saw him in Aspen in 1956 when I was 15 years old. Oscar Peterson had paws the size of a polar bear, and he is one of the most revered and the most recorded pianists in the world. And nobody, first of all, he was classically trained. He was of Jamaican background, heritage, and his parents ended up in Canada somehow. And I'll tell you what, if you ever want to hear, nobody could swing on the piano like Oscar Peterson, and he did it at warp speed. I hated him. But no, we're going to do something. He did this piano trio, and a lot of times there are certain people who did piano trios, and they would use the bass and a guitar. And Brendan, we were talking about something, and he said he heard this one piece of music, and he looked at the liner notes and saw there was no bass player, drummer's name. And he said, "Why not?" He said, and then he said, "Oh my God, this is because they had such a great session with the guitarist and the bass player." Well, here's our interpretation of a Jobim tune entitled "Wave." And so I had to put a little 5 points on it, okay? Yeah, a little hot water cornbread and collard greens, and put a little bit on it. So it starts like this. I hope you like it. You know, if you can't have fun, I don't know how people could sit here and do. I can't do it because I love what I play. And you know what? By the way, I want to tell you something. We are so glad to see you personally. See, we have this great symbiotic love affair with you because it would be no fun. We were here earlier, and I lied. We did have about 5 minutes of rehearsal, but there were 3 people here. But you know, we had the hardest time during COVID, during last year, and even about 3/4 of this year, at least half of this year, playing into the eye of a camera. I have the greatest, utmost respect for artists who are screen actors and actresses because they have to make love to the public and they're looking at something that big. And you don't hear any applause. We don't see you bop. We don't see your fingers move. We don't see your heads bob up and down. We don't see your toe tapping. We love you. God bless you, and thank you for coming out. It is so wonderful to see people again. That's why I'm just giddy with ecstasy, because it's fun, and we're so happy to be able to do this for you. And since I can't see, oh, how many of you have heard of Duke Ellington? Good. No, I'm serious. Believe it or not, there are people below a certain age who say, huh? What show was he on? No. I'm serious. It's rather distressing, you know, that there are some young people, and I'm not condemning, I guess it's the Z. We don't have any other letter left but Z in English in England. By the way, Brendan is Irish and American. He has dual citizenship. So he would probably say Z for Z. Your dad would, yeah, okay. But Duke Ellington is my favorite composer of this idiom of music. Duke Ellington, you can take it to the bank, you can look at, Google it. He was the most prolific composer in the history of music composition. He signed over 2,800 pieces of music. The Duke Ellington collection, he died in 1974. He was born in 1899. He willed a lot of his collection to Princeton University, and the collection consists of over 5 million documents, and it is still being cataloged and archived and so forth. And Duke Ellington wrote many, many different types of music, and he wrote when swing was king. He and Count Basie kind of dueled it out. The Basie band was the swingingest band of the two, but Duke Ellington was more inventive. Not only did he write, he's best known for things like this.
Sad
When you have wonderful artists like this, you can get crazy. They're going to kill me. Somebody be sure, get me out of here. Please, escort me out, because they're going, what are you doing? But this, I know they know it. I would never have them do something I did not know they knew. But Duke Ellington, he's known for this. Billy Strayhorn actually wrote Take the A Train. But Duke Ellington scored Anatomy of a Murder. Duke Ellington also did a beautiful piece called Black, Beige, and Black. No, that's a blues tune. Black, Beige, and Brown, which was a testament to it was an ode rather, and to the ills of society in the early 40s, of how Black America was being treated. It's a long piece. Duke Ellington also did a wonderful sacred concert at St. John the Divine Church in 1968, and my other cousin, Herman McCoy, scored that for Duke Ellington. And he wrote a piece called Gloriana for the investiture of Queen Elizabeth in 1952, and he wrote a Far East Suite, and at one time he had the highest paid band in the world, and he would never go where his band, which was primarily comprised of African Americans, if they couldn't stay in a hotel or in some place, he would not play in that city. And one time they did a tour of the South at the behest of an entrepreneur and a booking agent, and there was one stipulation: they had their own private Pullman car on the train. They were not allowed off of the train except to go and play in these various venues, but they had to stay on the train. And Duke Ellington did. He traveled. He had the highest paid band in the world at one time, and he lived off of his royalties from his dance tune, Satin Doll, Take the A Train, Don't Get Around Much Anymore, Things Ain't What They Used to Be. No, that was written by his son, Mercer, in 1942. But that's my idol, and he wrote about the essence of America, and he was asked one time, he said, how do you feel to be called the greatest living jazz composer? He said, I'm not. He said, I'm composing the music of America. This is America's music. It's colorless, it's colorblind. It is our music, and we just take it around the world with us. And so we're going to do, I don't know, let's see, how about, oh yeah, let's do, this is, and one thing Duke Ellington did write in the blues idiom, we'll do it in F. We will do the tune that his son wrote, Things Ain't What They Used to Be. We'll do it in F. And I'll put Thank you. Do you know the quickest way to get to Harlem? I do. Do you know the quickest way to get to Harlem? There you go. All good things must come to an end, and we hate to. But we're going to take you to Harlem, and thank you for being such a great audience. Thank you. And you know what? We're probably going to say we would like to. You know what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, to give these young, wonderful, young, brilliant young men a hand. Alex Tripp and Brendan O'Donoghue. I want to give them a hand, please. Come on, give them a hand. You know, just think about it. They're in the very, you know, they're in the prime. They're starting their careers, and what a horrible thing to happen when you're doing what you love, and suddenly it comes to a screeching halt for over a year, and they survived. That's the thing. They survived, and millions of other young people around the world who are in the performing arts survived. They survived, and they survived well. And you know, it's all of a sudden you go from famine to feast, and this is kind of the feast. I do want to do something. It'll be a piano solo. How many of you ever listened to the late, great Marion McPartland? Oh, yeah. She came here about 20 years ago when KUVO celebrated its 20th anniversary. And I got a chance to meet her. She still has the longest running show on PBS. I think it's in its 36th year. And it's obviously in syndication. She was a great lady, and I was always fascinated by her. And when I met her, I said something about Miss McPartland. She said, you know something? And she said, well, you know, I didn't do too badly. She said, I've been here. I came here in the United States right after the war, and she said, you know, I came here with 3 strikes against me. So she said, I know what you're going through. I said, really? She said, well, first of all, I'm British, I'm white, and I'm abroad. And she then went to put a coda on that and said, but this old bat hasn't done too badly with her life. And she wrote a song that has crawled inside my DNA, and I'm going to play it. It's a beautiful piece she composed entitled Twilight World. And Alex, I want, if you join me, I want mallets, okay? No snare, I want mallets. And that'll be maybe on the second course. I'll take the first one around very rubato, very classically rubato. And so this is dedicated to all of you wonderful people who are supporting this wonderful cause. Keep up the good work, because, you know, people who are out there in the trenches doing great for humanity, they're in the trenches of life, and they need help. And, you know, so many, I work with quite a few other nonprofits, and I do know that there have been serious financial cutbacks. You know, many people not giving the way they did. But if you can't afford to financially give, you know, maybe give an hour of your time if you can, maybe once a week, or just call and ask, you know, what is it that, what do you, can I lick some envelopes? Can I fold some letters? You know, everybody in the nonprofit world is so overworked, underpaid, and understaffed. And, you know, and sometimes it was amazing. I talked with somebody today, and this gentleman is a wonderful person. He's a retired attorney, and he works for legal aid, free, pro bono. And he said something to me that really resonated. We're good friends, and I said, hello, how are you? He said, you are the nicest voice I've heard today. I went, wow. That says volumes right there. So, you know, let's be nice to people. As I said, help them out. There are so many, and they're doing such good work in spite of the terrible odds against them. So to all of you wonderful people, here is my rendition of Twilight World. once again, it's our privilege. Alex Tripp. And Brendan, I forgot we had played. I apologize to you. I forgot we had played it together. So thank you, Brendan O'Donohue. Once again, God bless you. Sharon, thank you for the invitation. And I didn't mean to proselytize. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, just, it's all about just helping somebody. Remember? Can you remember back to when you were 5? I have cognition back to the age of 3. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I'll leave you with that message. God bless. Bye-bye. Thank you. Love you madly.
Wasn't that wonderful? You were just fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. Purnell, it's just an incredible honor to have you here.
Well, it's our privilege and our honor. Keep up the good work. Thank you once again. God bless you all. We love you madly, as Duke would say. And thank you for coming. Thank Dazzle for having us here. Thank you so much.
We have a little bit more time, so if you would like another drink, we have pie all waiting to serve you. Please mingle and have fun for a little bit more time.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry, man. I forgot that we don't play together that often, darn it.
I mean, that's a good one. It's a good one to take solo ones through.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because Ron and I played that, and as I said, duh.
What time do you start? 6:30. And it's walking. I don't know. There's no end. It's just walk in.